That's a great question. And there's, of course, million theories and different answers and different approaches. I always like to know why. Why has the horse atrophied in the first place? You can see here behind this horse's scapula is a huge hole. And then if all the muscles are disappearing, the horse running the risk of having kissing spine. You see on the bottom right how the spinal process are touching. So is the horse having all this atrophy because the horse has been started too young? Typical in the Western futurity or pleasure riding, where they show them at 2 years old, or same with the English riding horses, right? The racehorse goes sometimes on the track and they race with 2 years. So at that stage, the horse has not even developed in the elbow. And we have deformity in the bones. You can see on the bottom left here where the first rib and the second rib is grown together, or they get these transitional vertebrae in the lumbars. Or as I said, on the upper arm structure on the right picture, on the bottom right, you can see how where the arrow points to it, it's a complete different upper arm than on the left one. So needless to say, the horse gets uneven. And when the horse gets uneven, the horse will have more pressure on one side than the other. So what can we do? My recommendation is take a measurement of your saddle, what it is right now, before you adjust it, so you can determine, is it the tree width I need to do? Is it the tree angle I need to change? Get a Polaroid picture. What's a Polaroid picture? A Polaroid picture is, before I adjust anything, I need to know what's the measurement of my horse and what's the measurement of my saddle. And as you can see here on this piece of paper, there's all these features you need to identify in order then to check it. What do you mean checking? Is it atrophying because the billets are not in the right spot? The top right picture, you can see how the girl is moving the billets forward in order to sit properly. Is it the atrophy because the saddle is too long? So find out what is the atrophy. And as I said before, measure the horse. There's so many cool measurements. One of them you can do yourself, and that's how we are able to help you long distance. We have this amazing long distance saddle fitting. Or is it this atrophy because your horse just developed over this stage, and all of a sudden when the horse is getting bigger and bigger and the saddle didn't get adjusted in the tree width or tree angle, then it atrophies. So I always like to say, give a little bit more space with the gullet plate, with the width and the angle on top. Why would you not have all saddles super wide? Because you can't give little baby shoes what are way too big and the kid has no support. So there's obviously a limit how much is oversizing. So my answer is, give the horse the chance, the muscle to come back. But sometimes, especially in the back of the saddle, you need to have the saddle a little looser. This is the huge misconception. People say, oh, look at this, there's space in the back of the cantle. The cantle is moving. Well, the cantle must move, because if a horse has atrophy and it's not given the back the chance, the muscle to regrow, how is that going to work? Of course, people say, oh, Jochen Schlesinger says the saddle needs to move in the back. Define movement. Movement, like when you rise the trot, the saddle slaps the horse's back and your butt. No, that's too much. How much movement? The same amount of movement what you do when your toes are in a very tight shoe. I'm not talking about a high heel point shoe, like where your toes on top of it. I'm talking about where your shoe, tennis shoe, your skate, your soccer shoes, your boots, where it's a good fit, but you can still wiggle your toes. Same thing. So the back of the saddle underneath the cantle, there needs to be a minimum of a pencil width visible when the horse does the walk, trot, canter, that the back eliminates and has that space for the horse to engage the back to come up into the connection with the rider in the saddle. Now, if the horse has atrophy, I'm going to have that space a little bit bigger. Right? I'm going to make sure that the weight is out of the hole in the cantle. And the same applies underneath the D-ring in the front. The first pictures I showed you where the horse is super atrophied in the withers. I hope this answer helped.